All right. Settings are different, aren't they? Where are we? I don't know. Somewhere in a field in Hampshire. I've come back to get my brain. No, we are somewhere more. Oh, sorry. I've had to go on the move, so we have a slightly different mic setup. Hi. Of a classic Shure SM58, and it's just lying on the bed. So, apologies if this does not quite sound up to the tip-top audio quality is not that we have normally with the up-top tip most performance level of semantic genius that we also have normally. I'm meant to be getting some rest. We'll see. We'll see if I manage that. We'll see if I need it. Anyway, I thought because there's nothing particularly exciting that has come out this week, and that might be an overgeneralization, I hope you can see the bright side of it. I just don't want to do Alfredo 2, or various other things that I don't want to do. But because of that, I thought we could instead have a look at some of the things I have missed this far in the year. So, actually, we don't use that one, do we? We use... Oh no, we use that one. There we go. It's the same, I know, but I'm in a different place. Maybe I'm in a better place on this one. Well, let's not fight. Let's not quibble. We're going to go for that one for now. Yeah, so I mean, this is the list of songs from the year that I have enjoyed quite a lot. I'll just have a brief saunter through. We've got Skinner there, which I think I should revisit at some point. That Asian Glow album was pretty good. This Body and Disfig on Audio Tree Live really was quite powerful. I think there is a collaboration album that I missed somehow. That's good. We've talked about Songhoi Blues, Ella Minus, that was good, somewhat. Yeah, I don't remember much of the Lots of Hands. Clearly liked the FKA Twigs more than I thought I would. Sunkill Moon is always worth a venture, even if it's never going to be that groundbreaking a project. Yeah, Jacob Banks is a really, really good singer and occasionally has really good songs too. Pink Seafood, there were some really exciting things at the beginning of that album. Mogwai, I'm mostly totally uncaring about, but apparently I liked that song enough to put it on this. But there are 300 songs on this list already. So Taffy, I had a good time with. Revisiting, not as excited. This Anna B. Savage album, I really didn't like, and so it's interesting to me that I've put 3 on there. I really liked her previous one, and I thought the first one was okay, but that one, yeah, really disappointed me. This C. Duncan album, though, is good. It's sort of like jazz adjacent, but with this real softness of touch that's so unusual. Yeah, definitely worth a look. This Gais Guevara album, I assume it's Gais. I've never actually heard anyone say his name, but whatever. Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm still getting to grips with it, actually. I don't feel like getting to grips with it more today. Squid, we've covered Squid. It was good. Actually, was that from last year? No. Was it? No, 7th of February. Heartworms, we've covered Heartworms. This Elizabeth A. Carver album is pretty strange, difficult, but interesting. This Doseone album is definitely one we're going to have a look at. Yeah, little small thing from Noah is nice. Yeah, more Heartworms. This Gus Engelhorn one, I really liked it the first time I listened, and each time I'm listening after that, it feels more and more silly and less good. So I don't know about that. This Oklu album has, yeah, 3 really good tracks. I don't think it's all exciting, but some of it's really good. Sunny War, I prefer the previous Sunny War album, but there was some good stuff on this one. Richard Dawson we've talked about, Sam Fender we've talked about. Porridge Radio. Porridge Radio are an underrated group. I think they've not released a bad album that I've been aware of. Every Bad is particularly good, and this EP that these come off, I think is really nice. I've only listened a couple of times though. Bel Sisowski releases cool, unusual dance music, and that one's 11.5 minutes long. I can't actually remember it, but I imagine it was good. I don't remember this Santana song either, actually. Did they definitely both come out this year? 2025 and 2025. Sometimes things from the previous year get on here. Maruha are good. Their full length is coming up soon, which is exciting. Sharon Van Etten, yeah. I always find a couple of tracks on a Sharon Van Etten album worthwhile. I very rarely find the whole album worthwhile. In fact, I never have. I think Epic is a good album. But even then, there are a few songs that I avoid. Anthony Joseph, that's a really good album. Rowing Upriver to Get Our Names Back. Yeah, some really interesting stuff on there. Geoffrey Cantu Ledesma is a nice ambient dude, and The Milky Sea is a nice ambient piece of music. Ichiko Aba we've talked about, that's great. Ada Rourke, one half of Black Dresses, fantastic. Sorry, I'm really going to try not to hit the mic here. And yeah, this, if it didn't say "I hate that stupid mouse" so much, I think I might be on board with it. I think producer tags when it's your own album, it's not really necessary. I mean, you know, it immediately takes each track out of the seriousness that it's in. It's an interesting one, and we might have a look at it. This Clipping album we've had a look at. This Imperial Triumphant one we've had a look at. This Helen Ganya album is really unusual, and annoyingly, we couldn't just look at one track and understand it. It's worth looking deeper. I think Mary Halverson is the most interesting guitarist working now, and there's some more things she's done with John Zorn being the composer. My new band Believe, this is the new song from Cameron Picton from Black Midi. It's good. Yeah, we've talked about The Darkness. John Glacier, I didn't like this album nearly as much as most people, but apparently I liked that one. Lacuna Coil, I was expecting absolutely nothing from this album and enjoyed it a little bit, so there's the evidence of that. Salvia is quite fun as a hallucinogenic. Salvia is this kind of robotic, I won't show the album cover in big because I know I'll get destroyed for it by Twitch, but yeah, it's an interesting character, or persona, yeah, and the music is quite interesting too. Park Ji-ha is really good, film composer as well as actual just composer. These are interesting, and I think we should definitely have a look at them. Anyway, you can see as I scroll past, I think I've got Cancionera on here twice, which is a bit silly, but that is the only track I liked off the album Cancionera. You can see as I scroll past that we've got plenty of things we could talk about, and Rien Virgule is a really interesting one that I think we're going to have to not do today. Chase Petra similarly, because the main things I want to have a look at today are Jim Ghedi, Doseone, Helen Ganya. I did have some others. Did I make a list? Yeah, I did. Let me just check my list. Oh yeah, Eva Blanche. Eva Blanche. Let's just check if that was it. I mean, getting through 4, especially 4 that I already like, in the time, that's going to be difficult. Oh, and Lucy Gooch, yes, fine. We will see. We will see. Anyway, we need to start with Jim Ghedi because I absolutely bleeding love this album. It is, released by Bass and Rock, and that is what it feels like. Look at this lovely album cover. Can I get rid of myself just for a brief moment? How do I do that? Let's just take me over there. Go, go, go. It's not going. Oh no. Ah, it's taken everything over there. That's not what we wanted. There it is. Oh yeah. That's a good one. I like the colours. I like that he's black and white in the middle of it. The colours are really unusual anyway. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Sort of has the feeling to me of something that is that has been sort of moulding on the stair or under the stair for a few years. That's how that feels to me. Yes, I was meant to be off to one side, and now I'm not. Just so that you could see the album artwork. But yeah, I think that we should probably go for the most heavy, aggressive one on the album, Sheaf and Feld. Sorry. This is quite a varied album, but it's all within this sort of folk rock idiom. But it's not the same kind of folk rock that, say, Fairport Convention would have been making in the 60s. It's quite a lot more raw in an unusual way. Let's have a listen. Get me every time. Okay. Let's try that again. Oh yeah, that's a bit too loud in my headphones. Okay, let's start it again. No. No, not just a note. Fun, right? Just straight away, just some chord. Where are we? Oh, I don't actually know that I'm in tune. Let me just check that. Oh. It seems like I am. That's a bit high. G's always the difficult one. Really? Okay. All right. That's just too high, isn't it? Why does it tell me it's okay? Alright, that'll do. So what's our chord then? Let's hear it one more time. Oh, C. But it's not C major. No, it's not C minor. It is C5. We're in a rolling 6/8. 1, 2, 1, down, or a 12/8, I suppose, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. And then it stops, doesn't it? How long before it stops?
Just to know.
Get away. So I was counting half time there, but if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, stop! 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, stop! So it's like it's a 3.5 bars on with a half bar off, and that half bar off, whoa, you don't expect it the first time, and it feels so satisfying just to have that. Oh, yeah, powerful. That's a drop. And we're C. So I think we've got a certain amount of baritone guitar on this album, and baritone guitar is like normal guitar, but down a fourth, I think. So instead of E being the lowest thing here, it would be B down there, and all the strings would be down tuned. But I'm not going to do that. Great. The drums are really the heart of what's going on there. There's not too much strumming on the guitars, which are no doubt there, but the drums, using lots of toms to do that rolling feeling, is really exciting. It's very, very compressed in an aggressive way. So the drums are hitting so hard on the compression, or maybe on the microphones. It might just have been recorded on hot mics, but whatever has happened here, the sound is so loud that we're getting sort of clipping distortion on those drums, which I think is a really good choice. I think it's a really interesting thing to do with a piece of music. Some would see it as bad production, but I think they are blind and unimaginative. I think really here it works better because that's happening. Yeah, what else have we got? I think we've got piano just knocking out that high G, just going bang, bang. But it could be a guitar, I suppose. And we've got bass just holding down that C. And in fact, the mid-range is a little cloudy, but it's not got like full chordy stuff in there. What it actually seems like is that we've got maybe one, maybe two guitars just noodling around, not really doing anything specific. Let's listen to it one more time. Yeah, there is actually maybe another guitar as well, just getting out that. Something like that. You can hear that low G as well as that high G. Anyway, that's our aggressive intro. Do we keep up the energy into the next section? No. We've still got lots and lots of low tom. And now it feels more like threes. I might be struggling to oh no, I haven't dropped any frames. I think it's just this one which is struggling. Whatever. Anyway, so now it feels like instead of we're going dum da gadla 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 1 2 1 2. Now we're going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. This is one of the beautiful things about when you have divided things into threes. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. If you just switch that round, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. In the same 6 little bits, we can have 2 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 2, and that is beautiful, so fun to play with. It's still not boring, because it's not the most, it's not the most commonly thing done, even when we have those time signatures, which is not that often compared to, say, 4/4. So it's really nice when we get switches up with them here. So like this beginning, and the large beats, the sort of half-time beats there that I was counting, those are still in the same place, but they are a different division to what is normally what was happening before. So you can hear that distorted bass. Just actually, that's probably the guitar, isn't it? That's probably the guitar. Yeah, so we've actually got a muted bass sound in the middle, and on the same notes we've got that from the guitar. So we've got both of those things combining, and then we've got another guitar in the middle. The low guitar noise is in the left hemisphere, and the other stuff is in the middle. And I think the low tom is over on this side. So yeah, so we're using the full pan spectrum, not for a large amount of instruments though. That guitar in the middle, that's nice, isn't it? What's going on? Let's hear it from just before. There's a sound as we come into this section as well, and a hangover of sort of feedback from the previous guitar bit. Yeah, so what we've got here, we've got quite a nice melody on the top. Let's hear it one more time for my sake. Yeah. I think that's it. Let's do it one more time. Okay, so so is that probably done with some open strings? Is that an open string? No, it wouldn't be. Okay, well, these are the main notes to begin with. We've got these two repeating in the middle, and this is the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we get a double A there? This is the weeds. Ah, yes, we don't. That's basically it, so yeah. So we've got that melody juxtaposed with some pedal notes. So those pedal notes are holding on while that melody goes over the top, and all of that is played by the same person, which is really nice. Just on its own would be really something lovely to listen to. Yeah, I can't think what it reminds me of right now, but that's sitting center stage here. Again, quite heavily compressed and really in your face, even though it's a soft melody line. It's very, very audible. Yeah, but a lot of the other instruments are much lower, or at least the drums are playing much lower than they were in the previous section. So we're playing with dynamics quite a lot.
The horses stood out on the hill, taking shade under the tree.
And so here is, I mean, the folk answer to Sam Fender, I suppose. Let's just check if that's from the same neck of the woods. Where's he from? Sheffield, so not too far away. But yeah, he's it's a really interesting voice. There's a clear heart of extreme power there, but really a lot of the time it's slightly softened in a strange way. And I'm not going to try today because, as you might be able to hear, my voice is a lot lower than normal today.
Taking shade under the tree, fatherless above the wheat.
Yeah, he's got this kind of a little bit of a tight jaw, maybe.
I saw him hang, he looked like me.
But it sounds so insistent and yeah, and intense. And it has this connection, I would say, back through the centuries. It feels like traditional folk singing in a certain way, but with so much more bite to it in another way.
Merely sang an old song sweet.
Okay, there's another layer been added here. It's not so audible, especially over the hum, dum, dum, dum. Those powerful bass notes, but it's I think in unison with the main vocal and the guitar, which is up there. I think there's some Pitts strings.
Merely sang an old song sweet. The corn grew tall as we all grieved.
Yeah, there is a bit. I mean, there is probably something that is a production mistake on this, which is that the compression keeps getting hit so hard that you get these sort of weird dips in the audio. At least that's what I think is happening. I'm not a production whiz, but I've encountered the same kind of thing in my own music, and it's difficult to deal with for me. Anyway, it sort of hits hard, and then there's this sudden dip. It maybe has a bit of a psychedelic feel, so you could say that adds to what's going on here. So we've got the very hard rock feel, and then we've got this slightly woozy psychedelic feel, and then we've also got the classic folky feeling melody and delivery.
Ravaged through the ones we loved and left them in the undergrowth.
Another thing that's very classic folk is that this melody doesn't have a B section or a change up. We fit the words to the melody. It happens the same way each time. That's all it does. I guess we have an A and a B, which is like that's our A. Is our B, and you could also say it's like all of those have the same rhythm, so they could be A and then B to N. But the point is, those 4 bits repeat the same every single time, so we get a real connection through the melody, just repeating like that, a real ingraining of that melody.
Stop for the love, stop for the love, stop for the love.
And now we are in a chorus section, really. Yeah, there's some weird things going on in the accompaniment here. I really like it. The production sometimes, I would say, gets in the way, but and especially when he goes low there in his voice.
Love, stop for the love, stop for the love.
It's hard to make that notes that low sing out when you've got that kind of thing going over the top.
Stop for the love, stop for the love, stop for the love of losing.
Yeah, very loud guitar chords there, and just at the end there, and I think at the end of the previous version of it, we get that hemiola again. We get those 2s and 3s cross rhythms. So we were going just that last bit. Lose the love. So you get that in between those beats in the place where it would go if we were counting in 2s. So we could go stop for the love, stop for. Is that how it goes? Stop for the love, stop for love. Yeah, something like that. But it doesn't feel like that. It's just right at the end there where we get a hi-hat from the drums, which is interesting because there's not that much hi-hat normally from the drums. Let's have a listen to that section again. Yeah, so there's maybe a violin doing something like that over the top, and then we just have these big, loud kind of C power chords coming out. Still with the same bass pedal.
Stop for the love, stop for the love, stop for the love of losing.
Yeah, so it comes in for the last two repetitions of da da da, which I guess is, if that's our 6/8, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and it's 1 2 3 4 at the same time as that. 1 2 3 4 1. All right, that's fun. So they're clearly deliberately playing with this 2s against 3s stuff, and it is yeah, it's unsettling in a way, and it's also just showing you the truth of the stuff that lies neath the surface.
Stop for the love, stop for the love, stop for the love of losing.
A little bit about that melody then. Covers an octave and a half just in that bit. Starts at the highest point and then comes down, and we've got kind of the same, well, not the same contour, but the same rhythm for those first 3 again. Da 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 da, and then it's just that 4th one which changes da 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 da, and that is a strange bit of melody jumping down, do 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 do, and then straight back up, and then straight back down. Do do. That's a 5th jump. Do 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 do, and then going even lower. Now, classical melody would have you think that if you jump down a 5th, you should go back up a certain amount of the way after that. This doesn't do that. Do do do. And it is unusual. Well, what I would say it adds, and it's a bit of a insipid idea, but you know, if you're going you're really depressing the intensity, and that's how it feels in the voice too. So for that ending, it's a downbeat ending, a more sad, depressing ending than this powerful stuff up there. Okay, and in this next section, we've got some fun stuff going on. So, so the drums, yeah, we've really taken in that. Actually, it's not hi-hat, is it? It's ride cymbal. Okay, there it is. So there, it was actually hi-hat there, but now it sounds like ride cymbal to me. A little bit, really lacking in space, that ride cymbal, I suppose. Just a little tinkle when it hits. and so the drums are more energetic, moving and doing more drums. Fewer toms here, I guess. The guitar is back to doing a similar kind of thing with a melody and some pedal. Actually, it's more clearly two different guitars now. There's one going something like that, while the other one's actually taking the center stage, but is the less interesting one. Yeah, it's just going ba ba da 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 da, which is not super interesting. The other one is more interesting in the right ear, but it's not as present by far. And here we've also got the bass moving. Bow, 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 do. Interesting choices. Just a little interlude there, everything moving together in a slightly classical way. And then, yeah, we had another pause, didn't we? Did we? Maybe I'm making it up. Yeah, and there's a slide from the violin there, all the way up, and it doesn't sound like a guitar slide. Oh, violin slides sound pretty raw, because you've got that bow on the strings, and the bow on strings is a raw sound anyway. Really, it's a very special person who can make that sound clean. A professional string player, but the thing is that a lot of people who are professionals in making it sound rough instead, and we would classically call these fiddle players, and that basically is the sound we're getting here. We're getting that aggressive country violin sound, really aggressive and full bodied. And then we're back into our intro section, aren't we? I mean, no idea what he says there, but it is the right amount of syllables for Sheaf and Feld. Not the melody we would expect over this C power chord. The makes sense, that's just a C. Then okay, it's a B flat, but we could be going down to the G, which would make loads of sense. But we skip straight over the G. Why? Wow. Interesting choice. And then we do it again the same second time. So that seems to be the only addition to this section. We didn't have that in the beginning, did we? Is this our chorus? I would say probably not. But this, yeah, I don't know. In terms of conventional naming sections, you could probably call it a hook, I suppose. Yeah, I guess you could maybe make a case that it's the chorus. Are we going to get the same thing again? Yeah. Yeah, so that I thought was piano before. There might be some piano on it, but it's got a bit too much vibrato for it to be piano. If there's any vibrato, it's not piano. So it sounds like a guitar to me now. It might be a guitar doing just both of those Gs. Maybe you could do... Ooh. Yeah, you could do all three of those Gs. Like that, but with the open G, I'm adamant to keep the open G. That seems quite difficult though. You could do that. You could do that! Yeah. The only thing is, yeah, doing vibrato and avoiding that string. They have to go in opposite directions. Weird. Yeah, that's probably not what happened. Fun idea though. Okay, and we're back into our verse melody. And again, it's played by the guitar to begin with. We've got fun soundscape stuff going on, making an enormous feeling sound. Yeah, so going through the background there, we've got a top C just clear and icy against the rolling call of nature, really, isn't it? This stuff, it feels like nature. So there was added the E flat above to that C, so we've got now two of those notes being held the whole time. That's okay, because we've got the same chord routing all of this. The only time we didn't was in that brief interlude before. And then, yeah, lovely addition of the violin there, doubling the melody, I think with a double stop as well. Maybe not, actually. That seems very difficult to play unless it's an open string, and it wouldn't normally be. No, it actually sounds like it's in octaves from the violin, which is also probably not nice to play, but pretty fun. But yeah, so that E flat at the top is giving us a full minor chord, which we've only had in passing here when the note lands on that E flat. So that's an interesting choice. Interesting that, yeah, it's mainly the C and sometimes the G that are just held here, but the E flat is only there in passing. We've never had an E though, so it's not like it's ambiguous, but it's just very rarely actually there. But it is here, and it feels like it's about to slide somewhere. Yeah, just a slight slide, those two notes, which suggests that through the mist they were being held by a violin, and they just slide down there a little bit. Okay, are we going to get a similar thing now for this? What's it, our chorus? Is it our pre-chorus? I don't know. This is our first part two. We're getting a similar kind of thing, but we're getting more distortion on those second beats. So it's like we get the chord to begin with, and then we get something like that, but we're also getting like horrible noises at the same time. Yeah. Electronic sounds. There's that paniola again. Da, 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 da. Second repetition here. Okay, and here's our instrumental section again, and it sounds similar, and it's again the part where the bass is moving, so that gives it a different feel to the other sections in a quite subtle way, but nonetheless a very noticeable way. Okay, and yeah, that other guitar, incredibly distorted. Is it? In fact, it could potentially be a violin, I suppose, but it sounds dark and low like a guitar. Here's our hexachorus. Yeah, so on those high notes he is going into falsetto. He goes up to the G in his lower voice, and then he's got falsetto up there. It's a very wobbly falsetto in comparison to the held strong pitch of the others. Yeah, I told you I shouldn't have. Anyway. Two very different sounds. Yeah, lots of snare in there as well. Didn't notice that the first two times, but it's not just the toms in this section, it's the snare as well. time. Nice. Lovely. Yeah, just a bit of noise to finish off. It sort of feels like it should maybe have been cleaner, but you know, there's elements of the production here which, let's say, deliberately have an oh dang, what's the word? They are deliberately overblown. That's one way of saying it. And so maybe that particular thing is a way of bringing us back to earth for some simple production. I don't know. Anyways, let's have a look at someone else now. I think you should go and have a listen to that album. It's not all that on. In fact, that's probably the most on, distorted, heavy track that there is on there. But that is my favourite, principally because of that. I think there's really amazing, unusual relationships to almost every aspect of music on that. But one thing that is not covered in that is the ability of production to create some absolutely crazy space, and that is something that is totally looked into on this crazy album, All Portrait No Chorus. We've not got as interesting an album cover here, but it's still exciting in a certain way, and it's still got that sort of connection to gritty nature, I suppose. And maybe you could think about this one and its meaning for a bit longer. But anyway, All Portrait No Chorus, and it's by Doseone, who I was not familiar with, and let's hope that Doseone is actually not called Doseone, because it could be that he's Italian. But I don't think so. I think it's Doseone. And then we've still got Steel Tip Dove, and I didn't know about either of these people before finding this album. And it seems like I should go into their back catalogues, because they've both got pretty large and interesting things going on. Yeah. I mean, look, yeah. So many albums going back to 1999, I think. Let's just check it. Yeah, 1999. And that's just on his side. On Steel Tip Dove's side, we've got collaborations with huge amounts of people, probably which aren't going to come up here, but okay, there's enough albums. You can see, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums from 2024. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums from 2023. Only 2 from 2022 and only 1 from 2021. If these dates are correct, then he's done 14 albums in 4 years. And okay, he's doing the beats as opposed to doing the raps. And he's collaborating probably on all of these. But dang, that is a huge output, and really interestingly, only one this year, and it's this one. They're both really creative, interesting pieces of people, musicians. And let's just give you a taste of what's going on here. Restaurant Not. So
What do you want?
That sounds like a restaurant, doesn't it? How can you put a restaurant in a piece of music? You just go in and record it. You use probably, 2 omnidirectional microphones and space them around, and you'll get a huge stereo picture of a bar. It's a really nice thing to do. I've done it before. It's lovely. Oh, whoops. No, thank you. This one.
What do you want?
So there's a little bit of actual, pitched music in the background as well, going just spelling out, I think, something like an F sharp F sharp 7 chord. Let's hear it again.
What do you want?
Yes, with an extra. Does that, doesn't it? So there's there's that sharp 11 coming in there as well. I wonder if there's an easy way of playing that. Not really, but that is easier. Also, that's an interesting rhythm, isn't it? That feels like threes again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I'm way ahead of you, what do you want? My songs are not...
Okay, and then it sort of reveals itself that it was piano playing those, just as the piano is morphing into something else. That's so weird, isn't it?
What do you want?
Actually, it doesn't feel like threes, it feels like maybe 5.
What do you want?
Yeah. It's not, is it? It's 4. I've got it now.
What do you want? What do you want?
Now you could say there's 3s in the middle there. Something like that. But let's try that.
What do you want?
It doesn't feel right, actually. It feels slightly off from all of these things. Whatever, it's slightly off from all of these things. Also, yeah, his voice came in there. What do you want? And we get a repeat of that. And I was like, "Urgh."
What do you want?
And we get that
Way
again.
ahead of you, what do you want?
And then
My songs are not a restaurant. Sit down, be nice, get what you want. It's more...
then it feels like we actually come into the beat, doesn't it? And that's because we do. We get the drums, and we get this strange reversed, slightly not reversed piano sample. And the restaurant disappears.
Restaurant, sit down, be nice, get what you want. It's more enriching. A difficult man, wicking, well-written Hell's Kitchen. And we...
And so the rhymes are thick here. I can't remember what it was, but like Wiccan, well-written Hell's Kitchen. And so every little bit there rhymes with what was before, right? So well-written Hell's Kitchen. They're the same, aren't they? They're not the same. They have assonance rather than full rhyme, I suppose. All the vowel sounds are the same, and so we get this same thing. Sorry, that was not the best demonstration of that. But the point is that the sounds are very, very similar from little bit to little bit. Normally, rap does not have such an intense focus on that kind of thing. You do get it, but it's not normal.
My songs are not a restaurant. Sit down, be nice, get what you want. It's more enriching. A difficult man, wicking, well-written Hell's Kitchen. And we whipping these unborn chickens till shit thicken. Then Chef is done with this metaphor. At its core, rap is an exacting of whim, abstract.
Yeah. So, you know, lots of little bits there, but they're irregular as well. We don't just get we get that sometimes, and other times we get a longer phrase. It's so much freer that the rhymes don't have to occur at particular bits, but still there's attention given to the sort of end of a 4-bar phrase, if you like. What is actually the accompaniment doing here? Let's look at the drums first.
Enriching. A difficult man, wicking, well-written Hell's Kitchen. And we whipping these unborn chickens till...
So really the main thing is kick, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, but there's more things being done. The snare is occasionally given more reverb. Here we've not got the snare at the end there, we've got what sounds like an open hi-hat.
Shit thicken, then Chef is done with this metaphor. At its core, rap is an exacting of whim.
Okay, and the hi-hat is now added to the groove. You know, before we've got to a 4-bar change, which is above and beyond the Call of Duty for most beat makers.
Abstract.
Okay, it's totally changing in the next bit as well. But let's just have a look at what the piano is doing.
Enriching. A difficult man.
That's a kind of conservative version of what it is.
Wicked, well-written Hell's Kitchen, and we whip it.
Yeah. I mean, those three notes together make quite a nice C major chord with an E in the bass. But then we had a C sharp before that, which if we put it in the middle sounds like that. So suddenly we've not got a nice chord. So it sort of, it's pushing and pulling between these two different chord feels. Maybe the C sharp diminished and the it doesn't really feel like that at all. But the C sharp at the beginning sort of grounds it in a spicier minor place, which then it sort of dissipates from as it goes up. It's a really strange feeling.
These unborn chickens till shit thicken, then Chef is done with this metaphor.
Also, none of these notes are reversed, so I don't know why I said that. I guess it was just a brief moment as we were getting into this.
Its core rap is an exacting of whim, abstracting of...
Okay, and as we change there's a change to the drums and to the piano without full moving over into the next section.
Him begin again, killing him of poison tongue, vocal cord lung, strong violins.
So the drums are still doing very similar stuff, but the piano is doing something quite different.
Begin again, killing him.
Oh, like the beginning actually. It's just the other way around. So we start with that, and then we do that one afterwards, I think.
Exacting of whim, abstracting of him. Begin again, killing him of poison tongue, vocal cord lung, strong violins.
Yeah, and against those beats, it is clear that that is in swing time. Ba-dum ba da dum ba da dum ba da dum ba. It's in swing time, so that's nice. And that's the beginning part again. So we have continuity even to that beginning part, which felt just like an intro that was going to lead into the song in an oblique way. It hasn't. It's given us our first section.
Speakable, nice to people, but microphone, evil threat, needle, specific, speak, eagle, street, legal, weapon of mass destruction, discretion.
Okay, and again we have this merger moment going back into the B section now. We have the merger before where the beat changes slowly switches without being an immediate change.
For ducks and stowaways, busters and turncoats, tied up in tugboat rope, weighted down in the dumbo, with all the sunken, shrunken cop heads and strewn around clown parks, dead jokers, locals, and looky-loos all there to see how you're hurting you with the ass and they phone now, watching you slowly.
Okay, so this feels like it's that other section. I want to round F sharp. But now we do have some reversed piano stuff going on.
You with the ass and they phone now, watching you slowly pull up your bones out. Man's is making a mobile with no real purpose other than casting shadow and surface.
Interesting stuff happened to Doseone's voice there.
Out, man's.
So I mean, you know, the intensity of the rhyme scheme is more than I can go into. But it's very interesting and free, and that's great. And then, there's something weird going on with the voice that suddenly disappears.
Making a mobile with no real purpose.
So we get this kind of, let's hear a bit more of that.
Pull up your bones out. Man's is making a mobile with no real purpose.
Yeah, so it just comes back on real. We come back to reality, and before that we'd had this slowly escalating soundscape of reverb and specifically delay on the voice. So they were adding up different voices, different versions of Doseone, and it was making this quite complicated stereo spectrum full of noise, which then suddenly dissipates as we get back to real.
Other than casting
one
shadow
voice,
and surface of insolent
seems to have
influence,
no
creeps,
reverb.
ghost writing, they speak over uncredited intern
Whereas
beats,
the backing
auto-tune
stuff
while
really
they
does
sleep,
that.
dreaming
But
of
then
talking they
it's,
mothers
again,
and see
cleaner.
nature crater, not natural, looks and feels impacted.
Little extra thing there, that dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Don't know what that's adding, but it's there.
something half finished for the distracted.
Bit of a rhythmic interest extra, I suppose.
Madness, I hold no space for a mask.
Just for madness there, we got two voices.
Jacket, please stream me madness. I
Madness. Two different voices, it's fun.
hold no space for a mascot. Dancing on limo top, JPEG for backdrop, feeding agreeable robots. Too many masks.
Yeah, so this is a F sharp 7 kind of groove, and we've got another note on the top, which is, yeah, up there is an A, so that sort of gives us more of a Hendrix chord with a major and a minor third in it. Very jazzy, or yeah, funky kind of thing to do, I suppose.
Disasters and passwords. I'm bored
Bluesy.
like the moon. Gravity's goon, no longer my tolerance
The
desires.
drums just disappeared there for a moment, didn't they?
No longer my tolerance desires.
And then they come
Something
back.
stronger to state bend. My bad. I
And then
meant
we're back
I
to
hope
that
my
other one.
taxes are spent filling the entire internet with cement. Message sent. Message sent.
Okay, and it feels like we're going to an outro now. Really, we've just had the same two sections repeating one after the other, so that's not groundbreaking, but what is super interesting and arguably groundbreaking is the way that these are dealt with. Each one has its differences and it's not just extra added, interstitial comments. It's not the cartoonish stuff that you would get in Eminem with added extra commentary on what you've just said. We don't have a hype man here. It's really just that we've got interesting things in the production being worked in to what's going on. Maybe there's something like this on a Cannibal Ox or a Run the Jewels album, perhaps, but I'm not as familiar with those, so I couldn't tell you that. But that's where my brain would go to in terms of groundbreaking hip hop, I suppose. But yeah, this is also doing wonderful things in ways that I haven't heard before. Reversing the sample is really exciting. Doing stuff with reverb really makes a subtle intensity addition here. So what are we doing in this outro then?
Message sent. Message sent.
Okay, we've still got the piano. We've got pew, pew, pew. And we've got the return of the restaurant noise as everything sort of fades away. Whoa, we've still got a bit of piano. Oh, and then yeah, in comes fading the next song. So we have a full album experience here where the songs are connected not just by who's on them and who's produced them, but the actual DNA of the songs is intertwined. It's a really lovely idea. But we're not going to have a look at that, unfortunately. We're going to move on. Now, let's have a look at Helen Ganya then. I might try and sneak two Helen Ganya songs just so that you can see sort of the difference that we've got going on here. Sure, let's just go from the top. So, yeah, didn't know anything about Helen Ganya. It's on Bella Union. What have Bella Union put out? Modern Nature, Marissa Nadler. That's exciting. Is that a new album, actually? No, just two. We'll get a new album, I'm sure. But Marissa Nadler used to be incredibly prolific. BC Camplight are quite fun. I've seen them briefly. There's Salvia, but on a Goddess album, but still. Ezra Furman, which I thought was decent this year. Yeah. I mean, plenty of other stuff. This Nell Smith album is actually underrated. I mean, sad story of Nell Smith dying much too young. I should probably have a listen. Probably have a show of it. I'm not going to do that today, though. Bambara are kind of interesting. Yeah, there's loads of people. But yeah, this is something I was not expecting at all. Let's have a listen to it and see what's going on. Okay, well, immediately we are in different territory to what I normally cover. We've got maybe a guitar or some other plucked string instrument doing a pentatonic melody. And then we've got a percussive instrument, and I couldn't tell you what it is, but we do have one in the album cover here, don't we? So maybe it's a djembe kind of shaped thing, I don't know, but it's going following the melody, which is fun. And maybe that's actually on a what do you call them? A metallophone. It doesn't sound like a metallophone, but it could be something like a small version of a vibraphone or a marimba, maybe. But it sounds very drum-like, so I'm confused about how it can switch notes so easily. Maybe it's several different small drums which are all being hit. So pentatonic is the main thing about a pentatonic. Scale is that they have 5 notes. Pent means 5. The most common are the minor pentatonic, which sounds like that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get back to the beginning again, but it's an octave higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There's also a major pentatonic, which sounds like that. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. And then we're going backwards. Okay. That one's not used here. This is the minor pentatonic. So they have slightly simpler musical relationships than with the grand majority of Western music, which uses septatonic scales with an extra 2 notes, and that gives more harmonic colour, more melodic colour, whereas the 5-note ones, they have slightly more simple relationships because there's only 5 notes and they are more spaced out. So they have more of their own character, but they have less complex relationships with the other notes. That's the main thing about pentatonic scales. They make broadly less complicated feeling emotional spaces. So that's kind of what's going on here, but what is more complicated than normal is the texture. So yeah, so we get those first 2 instruments, which already sound a little strange, a little unusual. Slightly quacky from the guitar-y sounding instrument. Very sort of 60s sound on that, actually. Very small, sort of boxy sound, juxtaposed with the other. So octatonic scales are fine, as you're asking. No, that's not an octatonic. The thing is, you sort of run out of space quite easily. So, wow, I'm really struggling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And octatonic scales are used, but they are they're sort of it's difficult to decide where is home, and yeah, there's lots of things that make octatonic scales slightly less preferable for most people. Hexatonic scales do happen. The most common in Western music is the blues scale, which actually is just a pentatonic scale with an extra note put in the middle of 2, and that works in the same kind of way as a septatonic scale. It adds just a little bit of extra colour in the middle of 2 different note relationships. Yeah. So there's fun stuff there, but we're not dealing with any of that complex stuff here. We are dealing with a simple harmonic soundscape with a complex textural soundscape. And we've added some kind of breathy instrument here. It might just be a synth, but it sounds almost like a trumpet that has been put through some kind of strange synthesis. But it doesn't sound like a trumpet really anymore. It's got lots more breath on it than normal. But there's still a little bit of a razziness coming through in the right headphone. This kind of sound that you get from a trumpet. Okay, and now this is something slightly more comfortable sounding, a classic drum kit. But it's not being played in a very conventional way. We're really using specific drums and using them in specific moments. The snare, a couple of the toms, maybe a little bit of hi-hat. No, it's really just snare. Yeah. And it's snare, 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 tom, snare, 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 tom, other tom. And that's really what's going on there. That's all. It's doing something different to the other ones though, and the other ones are just keeping that melodic pattern going on the whole time. That's all they're doing. Whereas these drums are giving us new beat. Something still connected in a very clear way, but just different. Got another blown instrument there. It sounds like a clarinet come in just at the end there. Just on that one, the sudden burst. Again, going with all the other instruments with their melody. But the melody is now changed. Da da da. And holding. A bit more space. Da da da. Sesame Street. Yeah. All, each in their own octave. I think we might have a flute in there now. Doing this higher sound. But still the same notes. And they're all, yeah, comfortably sitting together, doing exactly the same thing, and the only thing that is doing something different is the drums. And the drums are filling in that extra space. Okay, and again, this is the same melody we had just before. So we've got kind of 2 melody bits. We've got that one, and then we've got the one. So there's 2 different melody bits, and this is back to the first one. It's played on, again, different instruments. So what have we got? It sounds like some quite high tinny noise, maybe a really high oboe. Not sure about that. There's also a very breathy flute over the top as well, which is lovely. But the drums really have changed quite a lot here. Now we're getting more of a conventional drum kit play. Well, kind of. We've got the kick drum on the main beats, and we've got an emphasis on the snare on the others, but actually the snare is going on all beats. It's going all the time on all of those half beats. We've also got a tinkling thing on the second beat. Could be a triangle, I suppose, or it could just be like a high glockenspiel note or something like that. We do have an extra bit of harmony here as well. Some of those more honking instruments, like maybe the clarinet, but maybe not, are now just holding a note. And we've also got a low instrument doing that, maybe a bass. And actually they're coming, some of them are holding and some of them are just going doo, 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 in and out, in and out. The bass is doing that. So this is giving us a very heavy beat feeling. Not very syncopated at all, very on the beat, and quite powerful in that kind of way. It's not a very usual way to do things in music broadly. Music broadly has a more complicated beat scheme than this, but this has strength in its simplicity. Okay, and we've moved the fundamental pitch again, so now we're up to D. So we started, I don't know, I'll look at it in a moment. There's actually another note being held there, as well as the D. We're holding the G, but it doesn't feel like a G chord, which would normally be the case if we had a D and a G. It would feel like a G chord, but here it just feels like G is on top because it's relatively weak in comparison to the other one. And they both go up again. So we have this slowly raising pentatonic line of these notes. They're holding for a long time while that melody completes, and then it moves up, and the melody sort of feels different on each of those because it's moving up. Okay, Morrowind music, interesting. I haven't played much Morrowind, so I will have to have a look at that. And then suddenly at that end, some extra flutes coming in the right headphone. And the drums go back to their initial rhythm, so it's less marching, less forward focused, and now it's a little more spacey. And we really get a lot of reverb on the rest of the stuff. Just going between those two different places. A power chord and a G power chord. Very comfortable, very nice. Clear, straightforward sounding, but nonetheless a little bit odd, maybe just to a Western ear. And then a fade away. So that is one side of Helen Ganya, and then the other side. Okay, suddenly heavy synths. Ba-da-da-da. Still pentatonic, and still relatively simple melodically, but a very, very different feel. Nowhere near as sort of deliberately simple feeling. Yeah. Anyway, we won't go all the way into that one, but I just wanted to show you the difference of feels there. There's this very grandiose instrumental palette that is used, and occasionally it's very allowed to take up that space and be that noble sounding, and then sometimes it is juxtaposed with more straightforward, sort of poppier kind of sounds. Because both of those are acceptable, both of those are reasonable things to do, and I think it's a very interesting album. It's definitely worth more of a listen. Right, okay, what else did I say I was going to do? Oh yeah, Eva Blanche. Now, this is a really interesting one. I found Eva Blanche from an Instagram ad last year, and this was when she really didn't have many songs. Have I not got? I definitely have. Let's just search it. This was when she didn't have many. Wow, goodness me. Don't know who that is. That's not who I'm looking for. Eva Blanche, she didn't have many listeners at all, and I think she still pretty much doesn't, but the song that I found was Bones Don't Lie, which, I don't know, is there something about this cover that feels very Netflix? Is it just the colour scheme, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, it was very exciting, very unusual thing. But that is from last year, so I want to find one of the songs off this album that only came out this year and have a chat about what's going on there. Yeah, overall strange look of everything going on here. I don't know what is going on, but whatever. So yeah, Bones Don't Lie is great. Why not? Let's have a look at Too Human, I suppose, seeing as that is for some reason the only one that I have liked on here.
Here's the story.
So, what, low, rumbling, metalish guitar, but with quite a lot of thing cut off the top, right? So it doesn't feel like a really huge metal sounding distorted guitar. It's a little bit boxy and small, just a small aggressive sound rather than a huge thing. And then this clear voice comes through in real contradiction to that.
Here's the story.
Along with that very soft synthesizer. Ooh, yeah. Looking at sort of A minor kind of setting here.
Of a future woman, just like you.
I think her voice really takes some getting used to, and even now I sort of feel there's something very odd to it that I can't put my finger on. Je ne sais quoi. Well, maybe that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something unusual, something exciting. But yeah, da 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 da. Same phrase, just moved up a bit.
A future weapon. Evolution later. Tough as concrete, sharp as a steel trap. She dressed her eyes.
Lots going on there. Thank you for the information. Too Human was the name of the Silicon Knights game that was a huge failure after the extremely influential Eternal Darkness. I had no idea. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's what this is related to. I can't do names or words. I only do sounds. So that's all I will look at. But that was a fun build-up. Well, it felt very soft, didn't it, to begin with? This is relatively comfortable space, but with that nagging mosquito sound. And then building slightly. And then that sudden hit. As the voice goes up. All the way up. Well, not that far up, just to an A. Yeah, she kind of sits halfway in a kind of classical style, halfway between a belt and a a falsetto. So it's not and it's not it's somewhere in the middle, in a way that I can't really do. But yeah, it's very comfortable and strong and feels really rich. Okay, and then the harmony sort of goes really nasty after that. So we were in this A kind of space for a while there, and then ooh, yeah, some weird E flat thing. I don't know what's going on there. It's crazy.
Tough as concrete, sharp as a steel trap, she dressed her eyes with infinity.
A sudden space, and then a sudden change of texture as we get out of it. Ooh, softer again, but same note, the A, and then coming in on the F sharp for the piano. The piano is new. It's coming into a new place. Ooh, this feels different.
She has visions of future scenes. They're not.
Wow, and then immediately into another thing. We've had a lot of changes within this first 41 seconds of this song, and nothing really feels like a chorus, does it? This feels like a really driven, specific art song that is going on here. And yeah, so what happened there? We suddenly doing something like that. Just a slightly arpeggiated figure and repetitious as well. So maybe that will provide us the bass of this next section, the basis of this next section.
They're not hers, it makes her scared sometimes. She feel makes her mad sometimes.
Yeah, there's a strange sort of quasi-American lilt to that voice, which is strange. I think she's French, yeah, but she doesn't sound like, she doesn't sound like Edith Piaf or Jacques Brel. So maybe I'm just overgeneralizing what a French person normally sounds like. But yeah, so those two main bits, based around F sharp, and then it goes to D, and that top note changes. That's a sort of, I don't know, I want to call it classic, but I don't know what it's classic for. It's like kind of spooky, I don't know, spy thriller kind of thing. Yeah, it's a nice change. and yeah, it makes everything feel quite uncomfortable in a strange way. But we've got that we've got a fun bass going on, and we've got this hi-hat going on the offbeats. Keeps everything very energetic in a strange way. It feels like the different elements here aren't necessarily matched. The voice is so lilting and free form. The piano is really energetically focused on this repetitious phrase. The bass is a little bit jolly, I think. Boom, 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 doing this kind of thing. And then, yeah, and then the drum is just keeping that offbeat going. Crazy stuff. And then, yeah, okay, another big section change, another harmony change. Back to A minor. Okay, we were in A minor before, and the voice soars up, woo, all the way to E up there, beautiful high note. Yeah, there's something so strange about how these things fit together. The voice feels completely disconnected from things going on. underneath it. We've got a new like synth melody, doing something like that. The drums have settled into this dum tick tum tick tum tick tum, kind of almost country sounding drum beat. We've got piano chords going in the background as well. There's so much stuff going on. And the bass is really free as well. Oh, and there's an extra voice, isn't there? There's an extra voice just going like 2 octaves down here, while that top voice is there. When voices are doing the same note in different octaves there, it can feel quite hypnotic. If you've got both of those and they're moving together, it can feel hypnotic, but that's not really the feeling that is going on here. The feeling is really that there's this mold on the top vocal. The top vocal is this main thing that is taking up so much space, and then we've got this low vocal that occasionally comes in almost to like correct it, but that's not really what happens. Obviously the main vocal continues on that higher trajectory, but it inserts this rot there that makes it really uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean there is a certain amount of sort of spy feeling about it, but I think, you know, you could say that you know, spy music has become reified in some way, and the music no longer holds that connection in the same way as it might have done back when James Bond was successful, where we had this sort of new, and frankly back then it didn't have the connotation that it used to, where, you know, is more associated with the surf rock scene that was in the 60s and late 50s. So the merger of things for that James Bond theme tune made this this new beast that could be taken as an iconic example of what spy music should be, and that has then become sort of more common in spy music since, more of a sort of iconic reified thing that no longer means connection to surf rock or any of that kind of stuff. It means spy, and that is a little bit of a reductive concept. But anyway, I don't know that that's necessarily what this is going for either, because there's so much going on in this. I think this is really more free-flowing, free-flowing music. Let's see how it continues anyway. We've just soared up to a top A. Beautiful high notes, held so clearly. Yeah, those two voices together, they are really uncomfortable in a way that I wouldn't expect. Okay, so it's mostly broken down now. The drums gone to you know, less of an intense forward pushing beat, and the only thing that's carried on is that strange synth, isn't it? Much lower vocal here with a little bit of a strange flange sound on it. Which makes it feel like it's I mean, is there a real world example of flange happening to voices? I don't really think there is, but it makes it feel like there's some kind of sci-fi veil over this person. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of, yeah, tubular, I suppose. Okay, strange voices going from one ear to the other. Yeah. This is a bit like the middle bit of Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin, where things sort of decay into this erotic soundscape. Here things, well, what's carrying it through is really the vocal. Everything else is coming in for brief moments and coming out, not doing anything that is connected across the space. Strange. Okay. Does this feel a bit like the beginning? Maybe a little. So we've got that synth back again. We had something strange at the beginning, didn't we, anyway? I can't remember what it was. Oh yes, we had that metal guitar sounding thing. Okay, so here, which I guess was just there, wasn't it? But it's not here. But there's a piano, which we didn't have at the beginning. And then fading in, some crazy jazz drums. Okay, and we've got another repetitive thing from the piano, doing that kind of thing. Okay, and then it's back into, let's call it our chorus. Doesn't quite feel like it's a chorus. But it feels like the same elements that we had before. We have the driving drums, we have the two vocals, we have the strange it's not that synth in the middle as well, and the bass and the piano playing chords from time to time. We do have a fun thing going on with the harmony here, which is that we're occasionally getting this Dorian feel, so that kind of major sound, but then the next time it's that little bit lower. Fun. Okay, and the drums have gone even more intense with the pushing beat. So previous, let's listen to the difference. Okay, I guess it's pretty similar actually. There's just this brief moment where it's not there just before, so it feels like a pickup suddenly in the next bit. But yeah, really fast. Lots of cymbal now, lots of ride cymbal pushing us through, which I guess is a jazz. It's like a jazz classic element. That ride cymbal. That. Again, feels distorted from its natural meaning. Here, this doesn't feel very much like jazz, but it seems to have a certain amount of jazz's classic elements. It's strange. It's strange. Yeah, new kind of music, I would say. we've got that big space, big reverb space that things are falling into. So we're losing sense of time a little bit as the just keeps going on. Lower piano note there. Really only the drums and the piano are keeping us pushing forwards. Okay, very psychedelic space. Things fading in and coming out. Yeah, but again, another thing sort of feeling like jazz, but not quite in the harmonic space we would expect for jazz. Did Ride use a bunch of... Ride certainly used quite a lot of... well, they did use driving drums from time to time. I think Siegel has a build-up like this in a certain kind of way, with very fast-moving drums. And they definitely use sort of soundscape artistry to some degree. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a freedom to how the piano is playing here that is in keeping with the jazz idiom, but it's just not really jazz. It's more sort of rock adjacent. The harmony just isn't in the jazz space. But this is how fusions are created: is you take elements from two different things and you put them together. Oh, the ride cymbal. I don't know if Ride the band used a lot of ride cymbal. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe. I thought it was an interesting connection to make, even though I misunderstood it. Okay, so that time in that chorus we didn't slide up to the A as normal, which is a bit sad, but I think it's because there's another chorus coming. Shall we check? Oh, interesting. There wasn't a whole chorus to go. We just repeated that final line. That's a nice touch. It's unnecessarily complicated, but actually there's less music there than there would be if we'd had a whole chorus. And this is a really long running song anyway. Well, nearly 5 minutes. It's not that long, is it? So yeah, it's nice to be space saving, especially when we've got that huge psychedelic section beforehand. Okay. And a sudden drop out of the drums there. Let's hear that again. Yeah. And then they just are absent for the next beat. You're right, 8 minutes isn't too long of a song if it's good. I definitely agree. The original intention of this channel, or this, me looking at music online, was to try and make a space where we could try and understand longer songs and make them more palatable for people who can only understand things as verse and chorus and that kind of thing. But I really think that I would just be preaching to the choir if I did that at the moment. Maybe I can find a way in the future. And that yeah. So we've been in A minor for most of this, not all of it. And we just ended there on a C, which would be like the relative major, slightly brighter version, but it's still got the A in there. So we feel like, yeah, there's a bit of a tugging towards a brighter ending here. We've got like pa 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 things again, and just more space. G. softer but still slightly gritty, comfortable ending to what is quite an intense song. It swirls around and it leaves. Yeah, well that is only really one side of this quite unusual, artistic, complicated album, and I would suggest you have a listen to it. There's loads going on. Longer version of Twilight Zone. So Twilight Zone to me is a Rush song. Do you mean Golden Earrings Twilight Zone or Ariana Grande's Twilight Zone? Okay, well that's 8 minutes long, so that's probably the one. I don't know. I'll have to listen to the shorter version before I listen to the longer version, I guess. Yeah, interesting. Well, definitely worth a listen. I'm always on the lookout for long songs that people think are good, because there are a fair amount of long songs that people think are bad. So I'll give that a listen. Cool. Okay. Well, there's 4 different pieces of music that I think are great from 4 different albums that I think are great. I hope that you find that entertaining, worthwhile. I hope that that's enjoyable. I hope that you listen to the music and go and enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. Bye bye. See you soon.